This is a summary of my thoughts after playing the Lightyear Frontier demo. I'll have a companion video of unedited gameplay if you want to form your own opinion. I am a huge survival crafting fan, especially when you can build a massive base as well as a sprawling production line. I was drawn to this game because of the colorful aesthetic and the mech. I love mechs and I love survival crafting. Combining the two would be a no-brainer for me. So how did the Lightyear Frontier demo pan out? It's a little rough, to be honest. There were things I liked and things that definitely annoyed me. To start with the positives, the game looks great. I love the colorful art style. The way you control the mech feels pretty good too. There are some interesting and well thought out design choices here, like combining the pickaxe and axe into one tool. This is a pretty efficient way to do it in my opinion. You just hit left click or right click on the mouse to do a mining action or a chopping action. They take traditional weapon mechanics and turn them into farming tools, like the seed gun that can lock on and fire multiple seeds at the same time once upgraded. The hose feels sort of like a flamethrower, and you can water almost an entire plot in one go after an upgrade. This is where the game kinda takes a turn for the worse. While I enjoy the mech, you do have a few portions of the game where you have to leave the mech. My main complaint about this mechanic is that there really is no point to ever getting out of the mech. There has to be a trade-off so you have a reason to get out or to get back in. You should gain some benefits when out of the mech while also losing some. In this game, you lose way too much access to the mechanics, while the only thing you gain is being able to fit through small entrances. I don't think it's well designed in that I never want to get out of the mech, and having to do so is an annoyance. Thankfully, you don't have to spend too much time out of the mech, so this didn't detract from the overall experience. Another minor complaint is the frequency at which the AI companion speaks. It's way too much.
Wakey, wakey, partner. Let's build something jaw-dropping today. Something that'll inspire us while we do a hard day's work.
I only want to hear the voice at important narrative milestones, not every time I decide to cut a tree down. It gets really grating since it's overly positive and feels contrived. If you want to go full on positive or negative, you need to full send it like Warhammer 40k.
Abandon reason, no only war!
The good news is that you can completely turn off the voice, but then it doesn't feel as immersive when I do hit an important narrative milestone. It's only a minor complaint since turning it off is an option, but it's not ideal. The main thing about Lightyear Frontier that made me not as excited about the game was the shallowness of the survival crafting mechanics and the inconsistency of the design of the systems in the game. The main bread and butter of every survival crafting game is resource acquisition, mainly by punching rocks and trees. In this game, while punching rocks and trees feels great, inventory management does not. For some reason I cannot even begin to explain. Storage chests are limited by weight. Yes, you heard that correctly. I can only put in 66 rocks into one chest before having to build another, and you can easily exceed 66 rocks in a short time. Inventory management is necessary, and with this puny constraint, you will have to build so many chests. This is by far the worst inventory management system I've ever seen in a modern survival crafting game. Now, if by some chance, if the inventory space upgrade on the mech also applies to chests, this is a nightmare since you will have to resort your entire storage system every time you upgrade your inventory space. The chest should have a limit based on at least item slots so you can sort items in a way that is convenient to you. This complaint only applies to OCD rock punchers and tree choppers, so if by some means you can play these games like a sane person, then this won't be much of a negative for you. For me, it drives me absolutely crazy. The mech also has over-encumbrance mechanics, but thankfully, the only penalties are that you cannot sprint or jump. The other complaint is about the inconsistencies of the systems in the game. For example, the oil presser can only manufacture one item at a time and has a maximum queue of 5 items, not including the currently active one. Meanwhile, the fodder oven and the assembler can produce as many items as you have the resources to do so, and do it instantaneously. This creates inconsistencies in the flow of the crafting. There's no inherent design here, it just seems like arbitrary mechanics were slapped together. This is always a concern for me when playing any game, because a lack of intentional design and coherent vision usually leads to the game feeling mediocre in terms of mechanics. Also, there is a bonus if you build the manufacturing modules under a shelter. I mean, Valheim requires the workbench to be built under a shelter too, so I guess every game has some quirks. What it boils down to is that Lightyear Frontier is primarily a guided narrative experience, focusing more on exploration than a free sandbox with deep mechanics. It's a very polished and pretty experience for sure, but it just lacks the complexity and depth for me. I'm sure many people will enjoy the game, but if you're looking for a game that's going to scratch that OCD itch to build things, this game won't have enough to satisfy that desire, at least based on the content that is in the demo. That's going to be it. Thank you so much for dropping by and watching. If you just want to see straight gameplay, I'll have that video linked in the description and comment below. As always, hope you guys are staying safe and sane out there, and catch you guys next time.